So. Ich wollte gerade die Banane wegwerfen. Für die Schale nicht. Talent nennt man sowas. So.
Auf der strategisch wichtigen Krimbrücke hat es offenbar einen Zwischenfall gegeben. Ukrainische Medien meldeten, dass sich am frühen Morgen eine Explosion ereignet habe. Die staatliche russische Nachrichtenagentur RIA Novosti meldete unter Berufung auf einen Vertreter der lokalen Behörden, dass ein Treibstofftank in Brand stehe. Ein in einem Auto versteckter Sprengsatz habe Tanks eines Güterzugs in Brand gesteckt. Die Brücke führt über die Straße von Kertsch, eine Meerenge. Sie verbindet die...
In diesem Video schauen wir uns in 7 Schritten an, wie Benito Mussolini die erste faschistische Diktatur Europas in Italien errichtet. Los.
Tonight on Piers Morgan Uncensored, one of the most fascinating and controversial polemicists on the planet. Dr. Jordan Peterson's books became overnight hits. Millions watch him online, and his tours pack theatres across the world. He's a clinical psychologist whose fans treat him more like a rock star. And tonight, we go toe-to-toe and most definitely uncensored.
Warum macht die so einen Snap? So ein Snap. So ein scheiß Snap.
From London, this is Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Well, good evening from London and welcome to a special edition of Piers Morgan Uncensored. Dr. Jordan Peterson, one-on-one. He's a clinical psychologist turned culture warrior and one of the world's most famous and infamous intellectuals. His books are instant bestsellers. Tens of millions watch him online. Legions of fans swear by his straight-talking guidance.
What I've recommended to people is clean up your room.
But his outspoken views on issues like feminism,
the taming of the wild man, essentially, by the desirable and virginal woman. And if you think women don't want that, then you better bloody well come up with an explanation for 50 Shades of Grey.
And gender.
You won't use my pronouns, so I'm pretty sure you're my enemy, yes.
Yeah, well, I know you think that, but I don't believe that using your pronouns is going to do you any good in the long run.
Have made him a lightning rod for controversy. Almost 40 million people have now seen this notorious interview with a British news show.
You're exercising your freedom of speech to certainly risk offending me, and that's fine. I think more power to you as far as I'm concerned.
Except you haven't sat there and... I'm just trying to work that out. I mean...
Ha, gotcha.
Celebrity friends face criticism just for meeting him. He's loved.
Ha, gotcha.
Celebrity friends face criticism just for meeting him. He's loved, he's loathed, but he's never ignored. And tonight, Jordan Peterson...
Ich habe jetzt BoJack fertig geschaut. Das Ende ist perfekt. Und die vorletzte Episode der View from Halfway Down ist die beste Episode, die ich jemals gesehen habe, auf irgendwas bezogen. WTF, Alter, wie krass.
Is uncensored. Well, Jordan Peterson joins me now. Jordan Peterson, welcome.
Piers, irgendwie sowas. Piers Morgan hat jetzt auch was mit Andrew Tate gemacht. die Hälfte wurde rausgeschnitten. Sie haben schlecht darstellen. Also sie haben versucht, Andrew schlecht darzustellen. Hat nicht geklappt. Und er hat ihn 3 Sekunden interruptiert, also gestört. Das ist geil. In the back of my mind, you're alive. Buenas noches.
What do you think?
Welcome.
Thank you.
To Piers Morgan Uncensored. I suppose my first question, and there will be people genuinely wanting a simple answer, but there's a bigger answer too. Who is Jordan Peterson?
Well, I'm a clinical psychologist and a professor, and I'm doing that on a broader scale now, I suppose. But it's an extension of what I've done since 1987, really. I mean, I taught the same things I'm teaching, although I've expanded them all throughout my academic career, and my classes were very popular, and not popular exactly. The students found them extremely useful.
Why have you become so notorious? Because I look at it as, I've actually watched a lot of your lectures. I've listened to hours of you and Joe Rogan talking about stuff. I don't see the devil that some people try and put.
Hier ist direkt ein Clip von
What is your view of Alex Jones? I don't see why any of that has to do with me. It's very interesting. I've done the guy's podcast. I know him well. He was professional and courteous to me. When I meet somebody and they show me respect, I show them back. Respect. That's what I do, as I did with you. You respect him? If somebody shows me respect and is courteous to me, I'm courteous back. It's lame and let's move on. Had a podcast. Would you go on it? Sure. You would? Great. I've done a bunch of podcasts with people who are advocating for things that I do not agree with on every single level. In fact, most of my podcasts are me disagreeing with people. So it's completely crazy that you're trying to lump me in with that. That's cheap. That's cheap. You are completely misconstruing the point of what I'm saying. I think deliberately. No, what you're trying is a cheap trick. And I'm just making it clear to the audience. I'm just curious where your moral line is. It's a cheap trick. Where's your moral line? I disagree with the points of view with the majority of the people I do podcasts with. So it's a very cheap trick you're trying here. What is your view of Alex Jones? I don't see why any of that has to do with me. It's very interesting. I've done the guy's podcast. I know him well. He was professional and courteous to me. When I'm...
What are you doing?
What? No, I'm not on steroids.
Oh my God, you got that face on you. What are you doing? It's not good for you. What are you doing? That's not real.
What do you mean that's not real?
Oh, please tell me you're not taking steroids.
No, of course I'm not taking steroids.
Right, show me your body.
What?
There'll be holes in it somewhere.
Holes?
Is it in your ass?
No, it's not in my ass.
Where is it? Oh my God, you are.
Oh, Hauptmann, das Video regt auf.
Portray you as at all. And it seems to me the one thing we may share in common is certainly not intellectual prowess, where unfortunately I'm many yards behind you. But what we do share, I think, is that a lot of people seem to have drawn an opinion about us based on either what they've seen in a tiny clip, taken out of context a lot of the time, or what they've been told to think about you by other people.
Yeah, well, that's some of it. I mean, I got tangled.
But I'd say it differently, perhaps.
Andrew Tate has been slammed in a TV interview. Controversial and now banned from everywhere, content creator Andrew Tate went viral earlier on this year for his misogynistic and downright ridiculous views. Andrew appeared on live TV to be interviewed about those views by Piers Morgan, a man who, for his many flaws, is actually an incredibly talented and tough interviewer. Fair to say, this one didn't go the way Tate would have hoped.
What has come clear to me in the interview is that a lot of things you say you wouldn't say now that you've said before.
But I'd say it differently, perhaps.
Andrew Tate has been slammed in a TV interview.
Tate Fanboy.
Tangled up in a political controversy in Canada. I mean, tangled up. I put my foot in it to some degree because I wasn't very happy with what I regarded as government overreach in relationship to who is in possession of my tongue. And I decided a long time ago, and really a long time ago, that I was going to say what I thought, and sort of independent of the outcome. You know, often people craft their speech. You know, I could have come here on your show, for example, I spent half an hour thinking, well, what do I want out of this show? But I don't think...
So, wir machen jetzt Hoop. Hoop ist eine App, bei der man sagen, sowas wie Tinder halt nur für Snapchat. Das heißt, wenn man matcht sozusagen, snappt man. Und ich brauche sowieso Leute, mit denen ich snap. Cool. Da steht, ich bekomme 100 neue. Egal, Hauptsprache ist meine leer. Oh, eine Anfragen. Von der. Oder was? Warum ist die so schön? Hä? Ups. Aber die ist zu jung trotzdem. Naja. Ich ändere mal ein paar Sachen. Kann ich mein Profilbild hier ändern jetzt? Fotos. Andres Photo. Da wird jetzt instant geschaut. Ich habe hauptsächlich so cringe Fotos. Das ist cringe so. Ich meine, hier. Ja, ich meine. Ich habe 17 Kilo abgenommen, Mann. Ist das grob, Mann.
Erstmal richtig umzuwerfen.
Bei den halben Sachen geht's mir halt nicht so gut, deswegen guck ich halt, ich gerade am Verrecken. Ja, die 3 Bilder upload ich. Vote for me, President Jordan Peterson. ist die App scheiße gemacht. Holy fucking shit. Tue ich jetzt hier noch das Gym-Pick. Okay. Oder die ist Konstantina. Die ist 14. 13, whoops. Incense. Sag mal, trinkt die da etwa ein Bitburger? Sympathisch. 1,613, kommen aus Bayern. Brauner. Oh. Weird. Jana, 14. Geely. Oder wie alt ist sie, dass sie ein scheiß Auto hat? Ja, die hat schon Körper. Die ist halt 17. Warum wissen das immer diese... Keine Ahnung. Schon gefährlich, wenn man seinen echten Namen komplett da eingibt. Digga, the fuck? Ist es jetzt ein Typ oder eine Frau? Eine Frau. Dass man extra ein Bild reinmacht, dass man nur die Titten sieht, finde ich auch richtig grob. Oh nein, Digga, die war doch perfekt, holy shit. Die zockt. Und die hat ein Motorrad, Digga. Holy shit. Was? Eishockeyspielerin Strichfan. Baden-Württemberg. Bruder. Die ist gechillt. Ich stehe nicht so auf Eishockey. Tuva, die ist 17. Ne, Amy 17. Das ist so ein Bild. Zeigt das die Körperform oder was? Ist schön, I guess. Hat aber kein Alter angegeben. Ich weiß nicht mal, wonach ich hier suche oder so. Ich glaube, ich suche nach gar nichts. Ich suche nach jemandem, der mich schätzt. Wahrscheinlich. Halloween 2018. war okay, die Season. Die Zombies waren geil. Wurde ich aber schon ein bisschen inaktiver. Und gegen Season 9 habe ich schon aufgehört. Digga, was für? Deutsche essen doch kein Schwanz und Schweine. Gehirn.
Toni E-Woche, heute ist der dritte und letzte Tag, meine Damen und Herren.
There are a lot of clips of you floating around on the internet, as you know. One of them has you saying, bang out. There are a lot of clips of you floating around on the internet, as you know. One of them has you saying, bang out the machete, boom in her face, grip her by the neck, shut up, bitch. In another, you say, slap, slap, grab, choke, shut up, bitch, sex. When people see those clips and hear you say those things...
Agreed.
Well, I don't think that it's not hard to misunderstand it.
It is.
You might say that it's consensual. Other people would say, whether it's consensual or not, that's a very ugly way to talk about women.
Completely. Now let's
hitting them with machetes.
No, watch the whole video. It's a girl coming at me with a machete and me saying, here, slap the machete out of her hand. She's attacking me. So you don't understand. This is the exact point.
I do understand.
No, people don't watch them in full. And this is actually what's interesting. And please don't interrupt me on this point. Social media has changed in modern times. YouTube 5 years ago was 5, 6, 7, 8 minute long videos. Now we have TikTok, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, YouTube shorts, Instagram stories. Now anything you produce that's long form is cut down to very, very short form. They're interested in clicks, they're interested in engagement. They find the most controversial clips they can on purpose.
There are a lot of clips of you.
Die Fotze hat ihn ja schon wieder beleidigt. Also unterbrochen. So ein Hund, Digga. Digga. Also Brad Pitt? Holy shit. Ich wollte gerade sagen, Pitt Brad.
What's your favorite song? Your favorite song?
Bunny.
No? Bunnies. Oh. Babe. Very cute. Thank you. What's your favorite song? Your favorite song?
Gehen wir nach Amsterdam. Gehen wir nach Amsterdam.
Nach Amsterdam. Hey, diese komische Schokoladenmixe, Nutella-Mixe.
One of my most famous things people attack me for is their little quote is they say, you said depression isn't real. I said, if you take two people, one believes in ghosts and one doesn't. You put them both in haunted houses. And in the middle of the night, there's a bang. The person who believes in ghosts is now terrified. There's a ghost, they're calling an exorcist, they're panicking in the room, they're hiding. The person who doesn't believe in ghosts goes wind and goes back to sleep. It's the same noise, it's the same scenario, but it's the belief that's both. I refuse to believe in things that take my power away from me.
Woche 9, Tag 57. Versucht doch mal vor dem Trinken Menthol oder Eukalyptusöl unter die Nase zu schmieren. Das ist ziemlich smart. Vorm Trinken tief einatmen und einen angenehmen Geschmack haben. Das war so eine dumme Idee. Tag 58. Gestern war ziemlich dämlich und ich habe mir jetzt überlegt, ihr dürft mir auch gerne ganz normale Fragen stellen. Tag 59. Vielen Dank, lieber Amir, fürs Einsenden.
LGBTQT people have no civil rights.
But there was also, I think, quite a disturbing piece that BuzzFeed did. And it talked about the negative impact of young, impressionable male minds when they've read or seen some of the more inflammatory things you've said. And they quoted, for example, Sandy, 22, from watching. My father's gone from a man who minored in women's studies in college, who was kind and in touch with his emotions, treated all people, men and women around him, with kindness, to a man who says that whenever he sees an effeminate male stranger, he gets an overwhelming urge to murder them. He loves podcasts. He listens to a lot of podcasts. I know he's listened to Andrew Tate.
Whoa. Let's stop for a second. Let's be professional here, Piers, because you're a professional as am I. First she said, did you say that my father went? She said, my father has gone.
father.
That's a full-grown man, firstly. So we're talking about my impact on children. You just talked about full-grown man here. Secondly, I've never talked about murdering effeminate men in anything online ever, in any context ever. So I don't know why they have taken some random person I've never met in the world who's full-grown, an adult, and come to their own conclusions who I've never met and lumped his name in with mine. That is absolutely unfair on every level.
But there was also, I think, quite a disturbing piece that BuzzFeed did. And it talked about the...
This is something that I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. You know, once we get into this level of detail...
We don't talk about that.
We don't.
Yeah, fair enough. Very respectful. What about selling feet pics online?
You know, I'm not really enjoying this anymore, so...
Okay, we can call it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can call it off.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. If you like doing that, it's just like, I don't really enjoy that. And...
Hey, you say no, and we're out. Yeah. That was just a little game we prepped.
This is something...
I just want to say I think you're really cute, and I was wondering if I could get your Snapchat.
I'm good. Trust me.
Welche? Gott, edit. Wir haben sie den jetzt geholt. Keine Ahnung.
Piece of steel weighs half a ton. That piece of steel also weighs half a ton. Combined, they weigh nearly as much as your mum.
I don't know a teenage boy who doesn't follow Andrew Tate. He's not appealing to a tiny audience. You've got to bear in mind he had 4.7 million followers on Instagram. My own son's been showing me videos for ages. Now, he takes quite a blunt approach to things like you can't trust the government, this crisis is overblown, it's...
Meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst. You may convince yourself that God.
Hitler look up to der Typ mit dem Panzer. Patrick Bateman, Tyler Durden, Tommy Shelby, Homelander, Batman, der Joker. Ist es Urs? Ich bin mir nicht jetzt sicher, was der Bodybuilder. Und mein Vater ist groß. Aber warum Gypsy Crusade aber dann? Weil Gypsy ist schon ein bisschen sehr, sehr, sehr kritisch.
Udo Gümpel ist für uns in Rom. Udo, gerade noch Pandemie, jetzt EM mit ein paar tausend Zuschauern, auch um Sie herum einige. Wie fühlt sich das an?
Das fühlt sich wunderbar an. Wir sind hier inmitten der türkischen Grenze, die praktisch alle aus Deutschland kommen.
Die Türken wollen immer umbringen!
Pixel War, hey, Deutschland dominiert, ich sag's euch.
Wir sind hier ein Beispiel, wie man meiner Meinung nach Bier nicht brauen sollte. Das Ganze fängt mit dem Melzen an. Es gibt kaum noch Brauereien, die wirklich Malt selbst herstellen. Meistens wird es zugekauft. Ungefähr so sieht der Prozess aber aus.
I'm devastatingly lazy, but I...
SS-Soldat. Unbekannter Soldat, schwierig.
On the one hand, you talk about how you make.
So, ein Haufen Käse, das kommt jetzt für eine Stunde in den Ofen und dann sind wir auch schon fertig. So, ein Haufen.
Who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power.
It's me! Look at me, motherfucker!
Your Honor.
It is over now. This has never.
It is over, not free.
Am Arsch schaue ich so einen Rotz. Am Arsch würde ich so einer Person die Aufmerksamkeit geben. Mir egal, was der für eine beschissene Backstory hat. Mir komplett egal. Hier sind die Polaroids von allen seinen Opfern. Außerhalb von den Minderjährigen. Die sind nicht in dem Chat, aber die habe ich auch gesehen.
Like that. I wanted to come here and have a conversation with you.
You don't actually make notes, I'm told, before your big
I make
lectures and
notes, but I
speeches.
generally don't use them. So I have to prepare, you know.
And are
but-
they different when you go on tour? Is every night different?
Yes.
This is.
If outrageous opinions are read,
Ask me about Andrew Tate.
misogyny, do you accept that?
So you made a very interesting point there. You just said on the face of it appear to be blatantly misogynistic. I understand that on the face.
Die Snaps fucken ja so. Besuch da. Hallo? Mama, wo ist Bett? Ich wusste doch, wer Besuch sei. nett. Ben! Die Mama will was. Oben ist es nett. Wir sind ja oben auf dem Schrank. Mama? Wo könnte es denn sein? Hä?
Michaela Heide.
Cool, ist wieder relativ weit voll. Das will ich jetzt erstmal. Sehr sexy. Falls ihr es sehen, wenn ihr den Arm spricht, macht es einfach auf eure Handgelenke.
Some of the long format content I've made, if you're going to take a few seconds out of hours, chop it up, put it all over social media, accompanied with my massive fame, then things can absolutely not be taken out of context. I do not hate women in any regard. I have no negative relationship with women. No women have come forward saying I've hurt them. I have no criminal record for hurting women. There's no way I can be seen as the face or the devil in regards to how men treat women on the planet. I'm absolutely and utterly the opposite. I believe in protecting and providing. I've been misunderstood. There's been large contingents of people who have tried very hard to purport lies about me. And the truth of the matter is, I've been producing content for a very long time. Hours and hours of videos been cut down to 2 or 3 seconds of clip. Those clips have gone viral and people misunderstand me.
But I think you've used this phrase of be taken out of context, and I'm not sure that is correct in the sense that it still comes out of your mouth. And some of the things some of the things you've said, I just think are blatantly.
Well, let's do them. Let's hear them.
Let's go through some.
Sure.
Right. So you said this about Me Too stroke rape. This is probably 40% of the reason I moved to Romania. In Eastern Europe, none of this garbage flies. You go to the police and say he raped me back in 1988. They'll say, well, you should have done something about it back then.
Yeah, so the point I was making was obviously at the height of the Me Too scandal, and also if we look at Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, there's been a lot of high-profile cases where men have been accused of things they did not do without evidence, and their lives have been completely and utterly destroyed.
Right.
When I say these things, people sit and say that, oh, he hates women. I don't hate women. I think rape is disgusting. I would take a stronger stance on rape than the British government. I think these people should face the death penalty. But to sit and say that women without evidence can go forward and just make up accusations against men, even though they've been repeatedly proven to destroy men's lives at will, is absolutely and utterly
What about
asinine.
a woman who was raped back in 1988 and goes to the police?
Then the man should face absolute and complete justice.
But do you understand that when that clip appears on TikTok as a clip, and all right,
as a clip, completely.
Okay, but it's still something that came out of your mouth. Do you accept that when that appears on TikTok, a lot of young, maybe not as smart as you, young men, right, impressionable teenagers, will read that and go, what's he saying here? Is he saying that rape doesn't exist?
No, completely. I'm not going to sit here as a professional and say that I can't be taken out of context. What I will say is that one small sentence you've taken was from a 1-hour video where I explained that, of course, rape is disgusting. Of course, everybody should be punished for their crimes regardless of when they happen. But people are not perfect, male and female. And if you give women the opportunity to destroy men's lives without evidence, there's going to be a contingent of women who will do that. I'm trying to make a balanced and nuanced argument in a world where people have no attention span. They're going to take a few seconds, put it online, decide someone's good or bad, not be interested in the longer format video. And here I am. No, I'm certainly a person who takes personal responsibility. That's who I am as a person. But we live in a world now with TikTok videos 5 or 6 seconds long. There's no content.
Do you think women are the property of men?
No. The point I was making.
Why have you said they are?
Because I made a religious point. I said that when a man marries a woman, the woman's father walks her down the aisle, and hands her away to the man. Traditionally, this is what it says in the Bible. I'm a religious person. I believe in God. I live in the most religious country in the world.
So you do think that the woman becomes the men?
I think she takes his last name.
I mean, let's watch the clip that you said about this so that we can get it in context.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a bride is walking down the aisle to marry the groom, the father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
Absolutely.
But I've been married twice, as it turns out, and on both occasions I didn't believe that the woman was being handed to me as chattel, as property.
Perhaps the way the reason I'm asked that question repeatedly, and I'm asked in a loaded way.
So would you rephrase what you said there?
Now, that's an interesting point about phrasing. The way I would say things before I was famous, I have to take personal responsibility and accept that if I make a video that 500 people see and 1% of them misunderstand it, that's not a problem. If I make a video that 5 million people see and 1% of them understand.
So specifically on that point, I think my sister is her husband's property.
She took his last name. She married him. She wanted to join his family. She has said it herself.
Right. So she's
still a sovereign individual. She's absolutely not a sovereign individual.
Property means that the husband owns your sister.
Listen, my friend, if we want to argue about this, you need to go back to the Bible, to the Quran. You need to argue with religious.
No, I'm not talking about anything in the Bible or Quran.
But that's what it says.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
I think that if a woman marries a man and she decides to take his last name, that they have different roles and responsibilities within that marriage, and I believe that.
That's not the question.
I believe the father. I am. The father hands her.
Don't behave like a politician.
The father hands her to the man.
Right, but don't be a politician, because I think you're a straight talker,
Sure.
right? You keep telling me you're a straight talker. I think my sister is her husband's property. Do you regret saying it like that?
I understand that with my newfound fame, perhaps it could be phrased differently. However, I still believe that a woman is given to the man in marriage. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but not as property.
No, the property is the word that other people use when they
as
ask me the question.
But as an equal partner in a loving union. That's what marriage actually means. It doesn't mean that when you get married, the woman is given to you as a bit of...
Die Verantwortung in gewissen Teilen über die Frau. Punkt.
Agreed.
So why say it?
But that's the way that people ask me the question. People say to me, they ask the question.
Hang on. You can't blame people for asking you questions. Surely, if you want to be accountable for what you've said, you've got to own your responses, not blame the question.
I own the response.
Be like me asking you a question now and you say something and then say, well, actually, I blame you for asking.
I understand, Piers. Piers, I understand. I believe the woman is given to the man. I believe she's given away by the father. I believe she belongs to the man.
So fundamentally, you do believe that a woman becomes a man's property at marriage.
I believe she belongs to the man in marriage, correct.
Right. I mean, see, that to me is misogyny.
And you're entitled to your opinion.
Right. But do you not understand why people think it is misogyny?
I understand why some people can be very offended by what I say. What they do is they take a point like that and they ignore all the other points I make the other way around.
Yeah, but that's why I've repeatedly asked you about that line.
Wie kann das Misogyny sein?
To see if you've changed your position, but the reality is you haven't.
It's not about changing positions. I'm a full-grown adult and I stick by the things I say and I'm responsible for them.
Which, by the way, is fine.
Absolutely.
But you did say at the start of this little exchange, you said, I wouldn't maybe say things the same way now that I did before I was famous. And yet, actually, you've doubled down and said exactly the same thing.
On certain points.
So that is what you believe. That's my point.
Yes.
I'm trying to work out, look, I don't know you. We've just met, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out who Andrew Tate is and what you actually believe. I don't want to twist anything at all.
Then let me make it very, very clear to the camera. I believe a woman is given to the man in marriage. I believe that. I also believe a man has a duty to protect and provide for her. I believe a man should lay down his life if something happens or his wife's life is threatened. I believe that women and children first are on the lifeboats.
But men,
I believe that men.
But a man doesn't own a woman.
It's not. No. It's
unless they literally buy them as a slave.
Well, obviously, we're not talking about that. We're talking about religious, biblical marriage. We're talking about something else.
Yeah, but I'm a Christian. I don't believe that I own my wife.
Do you believe your wife was given away to you when she took your last name?
I believe that there is a process where a father traditionally walks his daughter down the aisle and hands his daughter to this man, and they stand there and become a union of two loving people in a partnership. No, there's no ownership involved.
I didn't say
he's not selling
partnership.
Her. The father of the bride isn't selling his daughter.
No, absolutely.
Well, that's what property means.
She becomes a member
like
of your
house,
family.
Is it?
I think we're arguing over semantics.
We're not, though, because fundamentally, I don't believe a man owns a woman. You do.
Well, I don't think a man owns any sovereign individual. I don't think we live in the world of slavery. I don't own any men or any woman.
Right.
Nobody owns
But when
anybody.
you use phrases like property, that's what you imply.
I understand.
And so my point again is, you're a smart guy, right?
Correct.
There's no denying that. You're smart, you're a good talker. I've seen a lot of the stuff. But when what I don't think you quite fully understand.
No, I understand
is
very well,
when
Piers.
young, impressionable people
understand
who
that
are
very
not
well.
as smart see things like, I think my sister is her husband's property, yes, and you've just reaffirmed that belief. They think that they have the right to own women.
I understand that very well, Piers.
That's why people think you're a misogynist.
Completely. I understand all of this very well, which is why when you're saying I was backtracking, I'm not.
Do you have any regret, though, over the way you phrase this stuff?
Well, this is the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is, when I was not nearly as famous and I was making long format content, I was not sitting there anticipating I'd become the most Googled man on the planet and that a few seconds could be taken out of context. That was not my anticipation.
No, but it's still what you believed. It's what you believe now. So what's the difference?
It's not about, you're asking me, you're saying that young people who are in
Es geht gerade die Person, nicht ihn.
You said to me, look, Piers, honestly, I've had time to think about this, and I wish I hadn't said it. I don't believe that. That's one thing. Actually, you've said the opposite. You said, actually, that's what I think, yeah.
I think that when
Aber das stört ihn doch gar nicht. Ihn stört doch, dass andere Menschen es falsch interpretieren konnten.
So it doesn't really matter whether you recorded it when you're famous or not famous. It's what you actually believe, right?
Ja. Aber Piers geht es ja gerade darum, dass die Leute, die es sehen, das ganz falsch interpretieren, auffassen könnten. Was hat es jetzt? Jetzt auf einmal geht hier wieder so Tate zurück, oder was?
I believe that a man has a duty to protect and provide for a woman. I believe that a woman's father gives her away to the man. That's what I believe, and that's in my marriage. That's the circumstance I'm going to live under. If people want to live in a different scenario, that's completely theirs. Their prerogative.
You went on to say about authority over women. If I have a responsibility over her, I must have a degree of authority.
Yeah.
For the same reason, if I have responsibility over and people are going to use their mind, it's an example, an analogy. responsibility over a child, I have to have some authority. Yeah. So you believe as part of your ownership or your property of the woman, you have authority over her.
No, I believe if you have...
That's what you said.
I believe if you have responsibility over something, you have to have a degree of authority or you can't be responsible.
Yeah, but authority means, again, that you're the boss.
The point I'm making, if you'll please let me finish at this point. The point I was trying to make was talking... The point I'm making, if you'll please let me finish.
Sure.
This point. The point I was trying to make was talking about the safety of a woman. She was walking alone at night, and I was saying, well, I wouldn't let my woman walk alone at night. And they said, well, you're not in charge of her, you don't get to decide what she does. I said, I understand, but if I'm responsible for her safety, and I'm the person who's burdened with making sure she is safe, I have to have the authority to say, don't put yourself in unsafe situations. The two things are linked.
Well, you don't have authority. You have you can absolutely have the right to say to the woman you're with, I don't think you should, but ultimately...
If she decides, then I can't force her.
Right, so authority implies that you have the ability...
Okay, da meint nicht Autorität.
And say that that's an irresponsible thing to do and I'm responsible for
That's not what authority means.
Well, I'm not going to... If you think I'm going to lock somebody up in their room, is that what you're implying?
No, I don't think you know what authority means.
I know what it means. I'm saying that if I...
just a different description of what authority
means. If I have responsibility for her safety, then I have to have the authority to tell her not to do unsafe
things. Yeah, but authority means that you have some form of control over this woman.
I think you're trying to... What you're trying to do...
I'm only trying to get to what you think. Honestly, I am. I come with no agenda here at all.
I understand. And I'm explaining very, very clearly. If I have responsibility over said subject, I have to have authority over it. So let me say you have children, right?
Right.
You have responsibility for them.
No, I have legal authority over my children. That is very different to having legal authority over my wife or my female partner.
Completely, but the point I'm trying to make...
So you accept that?
I accept that you
use...
Also akzeptiere, dass Kinder voneinander sind.
See the analogy of responsibility for a child.
My friend, these are very...
These are actually really important things.
They're important things, but you interrupt me every 5 seconds, so it's hard for me to actually explain my point. The point I'm making here is very simple. You have children, and you're responsible for their safety, so you're going to have authority to say, don't go out at night, perhaps, because you want them to be safe.
I have legal authority.
You have a legal authority. Yeah. Legal authority. I'm saying that if I had a woman, and the question where you've raised this soundbite from, I was asked about protecting a woman, making sure she's safe. And I would say I wouldn't want her to go out at night on her own because I'm responsible for her safety. And someone said, well, you don't have authority over her to do that. And I said, well, no, I can't force her to stay inside. But if she were to ask me, how do I protect myself at night? I would say, well, you should stay inside. That's how you should do it.
I don't have an issue with what
So we agree?
Said. No.
It's the semantics.
No, it's not semantics. And this is where I don't think you quite get why there's a furore over what you say, with respect. Because the semantics point would be if we're saying the same thing in different ways. But we're not. I'm saying to you that when you say I have to have some authority over a woman, I say to you, you have no right to any authority over a woman. You do over a child if it's your child, because you are the legal appointed guardian of that child.
Understood.
You're not a legally appointed guardian or authority over your wife or female partner.
Legally appointed, absolutely not. I agree. However, when it comes to things like personal responsibility or personal safety, men, largely by society, are accepted. We're the protectors and providers. We can sit here and pretend that in the world we live in, if me and my wife were walking down the street and men were to come up and try and attack us, I wouldn't be the one fighting. But we both know in reality I would.
Right.
I have a degree of responsibility to protect her. So if I have a degree of responsibility to protect her physically, then the point I'm trying to make is I will do my best to make sure she's never putting herself in unsafe situations.
Do you wish you hadn't used the word authority?
The authority is something that she would give to me. She would come to me and say, how can I make sure I'm as safe as possible?
Also jetzt hat Tate ihn komplett zerstört. Sie gibt ihm die Autorität. Nichts, was selbst aufzwingt.
To interrupt you, I just want to point out that's not what authority means.
If someone gives, a person can give
voluntary
authority.
Da bin ich mal gespannt. Digga.
Trotzdem. Jetzt geht es nur darum, ob er das richtige Wort benutzt hat. Und das ist halt direkt schon wieder dumm.
Ich versuche nicht wieder da drinnen zu eskalieren, die ganze Zeit zu sagen, wie scheiße Alkohol ist, obwohl ich es jetzt am liebsten schon machen wollen würde. Wie viel trinkt das Oktoberfest? Alkoholtest auf dem Oktoberfest.
Oha, Digga. Fast 2 Promille, Digga.
Zu unangenehm.
So, einen stabilen Samstagmorgen. So, einen stabilen Samstagmorgen, Freunde, wünsche ich euch. Ich habe ihn gehabt bisher, deswegen möchte ich euch jetzt an unserer neuen Entwicklung teilhaben lassen bei Rüds Bestes. Das ist unser Beutel von hinten, das wäre schon so hingestellt. Ich finde ihn ganz lustig in dem Blau. So kommt es bei uns aus der Probierküche raus in einer Box. Und so sieht das Proteinpulver aus. Da sage ich euch gleich, was es ist. Das ist unser nagelneues Isolat Zero L, also laktosefrei, zu 100% pures Isolat, also kein Schmuck. Wir haben hier 94 Gramm Protein drin, oder bis zu 94 Gramm in der Pur-Version. Die haben wir 92 Gramm Eiweiß drin und kein Streckmittel oder sonst irgendein Scheiße, sondern das ist pures Protein mit 92 Gramm Protein. Das möchte ich immer noch mal betonen.
Ich dachte, ich würde Menschen mit meinem Privatleben nerven. Süß. Süß. Der Markus. Und noch so Memes, die so ultra alt sind. Ich verstehe das nicht. Echt. Wer ist das? Kommt mir so bekannt vor.
Is not authority.
No, but that's the point. If
It's
a
not.
woman, Piers,
Andrew, it's not.
Piers, if a woman comes to me and says, "I want you to keep me safe," she is handing me authority for her safety.
But do you understand the difference between having authority over somebody and somebody giving you permission to have authority?
Completely.
Ja. Hä?
I never said.
One is consensual and one isn't.
You're talking to someone calling you again. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
Women. Was ein geiles Bild, hä? Der Fuck, wie geil. Brutal. Was für 13? Digga. Was für 13, Junge. The Devil's Work. Verbindungsproblem. Die dumme Drecks-Hub-App, ich sag's euch. Aber 2000 Tage. Nice, so das Indies machst du auch bald. Mary, die ist 17. Alles so ultra NPCs Bilder, holy shit. Die ist schön. I guess. Bite Me 15 cringe. Kenne ich die? Ja, was? kritisch. Sehr, sehr kritisch, meiner Meinung nach. Ja, also muss das sein. Das auch wieder nur um ihre Titten zu zeigen. Dann nicht mal ein BH haben. Kann man nicht selbst Respekt haben. Hier sind Härchen komisch. Some things about me. Love, Stranger Things. L. Skating Lingerie. Okay. Looking Anime. Schauen Anime. Oh. Ich liebe Reis. Nirvana, Stephen King. Twilight. Oh Gott. Oh Gott. Okay, also. Oh Mann. Oh, wie kann. Wer wusste, dass ich der allergrößte NPC bin? Was für 13, Digga? Hä? Egal. Oh. Oh. Beschissenes Licht. Electric Water. Sü. FN. Yo, FNDC. Yo.